Welcome, guys, to Cryptid Tours. I have with me today a friend of mine who's a guest. You want to tell everybody who you are?
Hey guys, I'm a friend of Mr. D, and we've been good friends for a while, and we talk about different various topics, and we like to kind of discuss them to find out, are they real, are they true, is there any other you know scenario or thing to it or whatnot. We just like to kind of dive in and kind of dissect these things.
Right, right. Well, I definitely want to thank you for joining me tonight, man. Really appreciate it. All right, as we know, this is a cryptid channel speaking about the creatures that are generally half man and half something else, whether it be a wolf or ape or whatever. There are quite a lot of different creatures out there, and man, I tell you, on a regular basis, I hear about new ones. So
Hmm.
tonight, I guess what we'll do is not necessarily stick with just one. We may touch on a couple different ones, and also talk about, I guess, a little bit about my video that I made last time regarding the creatures that were seen during 9/11. Um,
Hmm.
so you were mentioning you did see that video. Um, uh,
Hmm.
so what did you think about that?
I thought it was pretty interesting, especially we touched on when you touched on 9/11, which I know is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people, and understandably so, with all the events that happened. Um, there are some things that are kind of sketchy, and when you think of, for example, the definition of a cryptid, it's defined as an animal whose existence is uncertain, or rather unsubstantiated, meaning we don't have any conclusive proof that it's out there.
Right.
But I thought that in the video that you made before, I thought you demonstrated an example of things that could fit into that category. And when you went into the whole thing about the what looked like a creature that was hopping on the side of the building, and then the actual something that was big and black, and it was flying, and it looks like it was flying like a bird. To
Mm,
me, those things, as you eloquently put it, do seem to fall into the actual category of types of cryptids, because we know something was there, and just too many people have actually touched on these type of things. So I thought it was a good video. I thought that it was great that you actually touched on those things, because it goes with the flow of the things that you're talking about in general on this channel. And
hmm.
it also shows that, hey, there could be other cryptids out there that we don't quite know how to describe. I mean, everyone knows about the dog man, Bigfoot, for example. But I mean, man, I tell you what, the world may be, or it is, just kind of weird, right? There's
Oh,
some strange things that happen, you
right.
know.
We're I believe currently we are at a time where and it speaks about this in Enoch and even in the Bible itself, that certain things would be coming up on the earth that would cause men's hearts to fail. Uh,
Hmm.
and I believe this is definitely part of it. It's not just catastrophes. I mean, although not to say that those catastrophes won't happen, but I think it's more to it, because these are the same things that were going on, that were present in great order years ago, back before the flood, and also after the flood. I believe these creatures are what were referred to as Nephilim. Uh,
Hmm.
so this is, I mean, it's actually pretty scary, because these things are, I mean, they're super predators. They're super, I believe
Hmm.
also they are part of this of a super soldier program. So,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna tell you, man, these things they can be ruthless as well as just scary, and then they just go away. They just want to scare you to death, and then they're gone. and leave you with some wet pants and, dirty pants is about it. So, but that's not every encounter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the one of the things, Mr. D, I think about is, when I started looking into the whole thing about cryptids, I started looking into it and I realized, I mean, man, it seems like there's like, like maybe 100 of these different type of creatures that people have had sightings of. They've had direct experience of as far as coming in contact with them or something. It's like, for example, you know, this thing called a Tahoe Tessie, for example, which
Mhm.
is supposed to be a cryptid that's, um, in the area of Lake Tahoe, in around Nevada and California.
Right.
It's supposed to be some type of large, like something that looks like a fish almost, but monstrous.
Right.
And a lot of people say that you could probably compare it to the Loch Ness monster, which is another cryptid. And I think as long as we all have conversations about these things, it can always be something we can research. I think the problem we get into is sometimes some people want to dismiss these things as just being a part of someone's imagination or some type of hallucination. And I think that's the wrong approach to take, because you mentioned, for example, the Nephilim in the Bible. Well, there's another verse in the Bible also that talks about, what does it talk about? Leviathan being revealed.
Right.
And so now when you think about that, let's think about that for a second. If it mentions in a verse about Leviathan being revealed, then that would say to me that maybe these creatures are actually trying to stay out of the limelight because they don't want to be revealed to the masses. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah. 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 That makes a lot of sense, man. So, yeah, I was just looking up a site here. I'm gonna pull it over. No, you know what? I'm gonna just do it like this. All right. And so it talks about, and guys, again, this is just kind of a general overview of just different things, different types of cryptids. So just kind of enjoy the tour, because that's what it's about. That's why I named it Cryptid Tours. Well, not the main reason why, but part of the reason we just kind of visit over different types of cryptids that have been seen and talked about. So first, as it says here, 10 mysterious monsters of North America, right? So what we normally see here, and this was just put out on the 23rd of this year.
Right.
So the 10th, they're starting from 10, something called a puckwudgie. Okay, and I've heard several things about this particular guy. Um, First, before I get started on this, have you ever heard of a puckwudgie, CJ?
You know, I have never heard of one of those actually, so I'm quite interesting. I'm quite interested actually in reading about this actually.
Okay, okay. So apparently, all right. So I'm just going to read this. It said puckwudgies come from folklore of the North American Wampanoag Indians. It is a troll-like creature standing only 2 or 3 feet tall. They look a lot like humans, except their noses, fingers, and ears are quite a bit larger. Their skin is smooth and gray and is sometimes glowing. According to lore, they have many extraordinary abilities, including appearing and disappearing at will, transforming into half human and half porcupine, using magic, and creating fire from nothing. You should leave a pugwudgie alone, or it will play endless tricks on you. The most recent reports of sightings of puckwudgies have been in the Freedom Fall River State Forest in Massachusetts, including the Watupa. Okay, I hope I said that. Watupa Reservation. There have been several unexplained suicides in the park that have been blamed on puckwudgies pushing people off cliffs. So here's just a video. It says when puckwudgies attack. Let's see if I can play this without. I'm just going to shut the video. How long is this? It is just a few. Yeah, it's only a minute long. So
Mm-hmm.
Apparently here, can you see the video?
Yeah, I can see it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
so let's see if Pukwudgie actually attacks you. Sometimes you see these, these videos. They talk about, well, when such and such happens, and then it's just some
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah,
If
it'll
they,
be like yeah, it'll be like the Blair Witch Project or something.
oh yeah, I
Oh
know, right?
wow. Yeah,
What's going on here? I
I
mean,
know. Yeah,
was
because I didn't see anything actually come out of the blue, as
no,
they say.
no, I don't. I mean, I would play the sound, but
Yeah,
well,
I
actually,
understand.
hold on. Let me
Mm-hmm.
hold on. I don't think this is a. I don't think this is a Pukwudgie attack. I think this.
Yeah, me neither. I
I
just
think.
didn't see anything come out of the shadows. You know what I mean? But whoa. But let's think about something for a second.
Mhm.
Now, it says that actually the Pugwudgie can actually disappear. And
Right.
so notice it says picture yourself ghost hunting. So
Yeah.
maybe they're trying to say that the Pugwudgie actually disappeared and hopped on that person's back. And then that's why they were actually, because it appeared like there was something on the person's back and they were wrestling with it, trying to get it off of them. And so
Right.
I think that's what they're trying to imply by the video there, that it was actually invisible. But again, because I
Okay.
know the first thing that'll probably come to people's mind is, oh, come on, that's just a person cleverly acting, you know,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
it could be,
It
it
could.
could
It could
be,
very well be. Yeah.
but
I
I
mean,
mean, I
hard
mean,
to say. Uh,
who can say unless they're in that situation? It's
exactly. Exactly.
you know,
Yeah. Man, and that's the thing. Like myself, one of the things that I want, well, the main focus of my channel and what I'm
hmm
trying to do with this particular endeavor is I want to actually take people on tours, right?
mm,
Actual tours
hmm
to see cryptids. Okay, so it is.
hmm
That's basically what it is. Now, my plan. I mean, I want to do it as safely as possible, and that will, just as a short overview, I plan on outfitting a vehicle with as much protection as possible. you know,
hmm
possibly even whether it's heavy aluminum or probably really I want it to be steel sides and no windows to the outside. There will just be cameras with screens on the inside. About the only window there will be for the driver of the vehicle. Now this vehicle will be able to fit or have about, I want as many as 15 in the vehicle
hmm
and in complete comfort. I mean, everyone will be in their own like recliner type chair that will swivel. Very
hmm
comfortable. There'll be all the food. There'll be water, and like I
yeah,
said, complete protection. There will be at least myself uh,
hmm
and possibly two other people there who will be armed, and even our guests can bring a handgun, but everybody will have rifles and just proper protection in case we do get into a situation. The vehicle will be outfitted very well. Not to mention it will be a four-wheel drive. I mean, I have some pretty good ideas about how this is actually going to uh, be set up. So to provide as much protection as possible to those
hmm
riding. So, and
yeah,
I'm going to go deeper into it once
hmm
I'm just waiting on a couple things, and once
hmm
those things come into fruition, then I'm going to really lay out pretty much everything on this, and anybody can reserve a spot on this particular vehicle, and there will be a specific path that will be taken to hit some of the hot spots where these creatures are seen. We'll have
hmm
probably two different drivers. This will be over like a probably up to a 2-day period, so we can hit different states and things like that. So it's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like it will be a kind of like a camping trip, but with a central point, that it actually be enforced. So yeah,
Right,
absolutely, yes,
right,
sir.
right.
Hmm.
So, all right. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. This is
Mm-hmm.
number 9, the Pope Lick Monster. Now, I've never heard of the Pope Lick Monster myself. From
Me
what I can
neither.
see here, the video looks like a goat man, maybe.
Yeah, a
But
goat with some horns, almost
yeah,
like a devil almost.
right. Well,
Mm-hmm.
there have been a lot of people who have said they've seen what's called a goat man, which this
Mm-hmm.
actually fits the kind of fits the description.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. I'm going to see if this is what they're talking about. So
Mm-hmm.
get with it. The Public
Right.
Monster lives at a railroad overpass under a trestle on the Norfolk Southern Railway, where it crosses the Pope Lick Creek in the Fisherville neighborhood of Louisville, Kentucky. The very existence of this legend has led to numerous deaths. Um, hmm. The monster is described as a man from the waist up with 2 short horns on the top of his head and the lower body of a goat. It sounds like a satyr to me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Right, or a
anyways,
minotaur almost.
yeah, a minotaur. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, and it says that according to the legend, the creature uses a siren voice or some type of hypnosis to lure humans into the trestle just in time to be run over by a train. Whether lured there by a mythical creature or just trying to satisfy their own curiosity, people have been dying here since it was built in 1929. That's pretty interesting. Um,
Yeah.
now, this
Mm-hmm.
this might be the video. I saw a video of something like this where like this creature was kind of squatting down and then it turned around and kind of reached out just like this. So what I'm going to do,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and play it and let's see what it
Mm-hmm.
has to tell us here. All right. Okay, so we're not going to play the. I'm just going to play. I'm going to try to find out. Oh yeah, right here. So this is what I saw right here.
Hmm.
Now,
Wow. Huh.
Now, this is really strange because, you know, all right.
Uh-huh.
So if you look at the anatomy of this thing, now it could very
Mm-hmm.
well be some type of, I don't know, it could very well be some type of suit or anything or something. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at the foot here, right?
Right. It's got
Just,
feet like
yeah,
It's got hooves like
let
a
me see
goat.
if I can expand.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, I can see it really well. Yeah. It's got hooves like a goat would have, but even like the upper leg seems like it's actually like a man, and then actually the abdomen is like a man, including the chest and part of the arms, you
Right.
know?
Arms look, and the fingers actually are clawed.
Mm-hmm.
You can see these black claws coming off of them.
Yeah.
Uh, and at first, when I first saw this, I was like, well, I mean, it could be some type of trick or something. But then I'm looking at the head. I'm like, wait a minute, the neck is
Mm-hmm.
like really too long,
Yeah.
and I don't know, just something doesn't look right about this. I mean, this, and I can't say that
Mm-hmm.
it's authentic, but I just like the feet, even going
Mm-hmm.
into the hooves right here. I
Yep.
mean, unless it's really, really well photoshopped, I don't know.
Right.
No, man.
And another thing too, like you said about the claws, um, you look at the left arm, the left hand that's on the ground,
Yeah.
they're actually pretty long.
Yes.
And from what it looks like there, it looks like there was something that was feeding on. I'll tell you one of the things that makes me think about Mr. D. It makes me think about there's a guy I grew up with who was in the military, and he actually told me after he was out of the military about these underground cities and he said there were highways that were going underground from one side of the country to the next. And he said there were underground laboratories where he said they mixed all kinds of things he told me, he said, you wouldn't believe the kinds of things that they've mixed together and created. Now, you may
Wow.
say, well, where does that come into play with this? Well, I think about that because what if now, and I know, someone listening, this is, I guess you can call it conspiracy theory, but it's just a what if. What if, that's really true that they have these underground facilities doing this. And then some of these creatures that people see were simply creatures that were released by accident or on purpose or whatever, and then let allowed to be outside so they can actually breed in a captivity. Maybe there's some type of genetic thing set up with them where their likelihood of being able to reproduce rapidly is diminished because of their DNA or because of how they're mixed together. Again, Mr. D, I'm just throwing things out there. That's all.
No, man. Hey,
It's,
so the thing is, what's ironic about that is there's another channel. The guy who operates that channel, his name is Jeff Natonley or something like that. I always mess up his name, but I spoke about him in my last video. He's been doing videos for quite a while. He's gotten quite a following, and he actually had supposedly an agent from one of the groups that actually monitor and kind of handle these creatures. Okay, so the agent he was dealing with or talking to specifically handles dogmen and werewolves. Okay, so dogmen, we have known dogmen as werewolves. I mean, what they pick movies look like dogmen, but we've called them werewolves. However, there are other creatures they call werewolves that don't completely look like dogmen. So dogmen actually have a snout, according to Victor, who is the agent. They have a snout and they look like the werewolves we know of, but the actual werewolves that what they call werewolves they have a very short snout, more they have a more human-like face, huge fangs and teeth, huge claws, and they also have legs like men, like people, with huge claws on them, okay, on their feet. And the dogmen have back legs like dogs. So
so if I could compare it, it'd be kind of like what they would call a werewolf would be more like something you would see in Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox.
Right. Or the very first Lon Chaney werewolf, right? So he said that they had a breeding program going on, and they were actually breeding these creatures, which that means that they didn't create them; they were just breeding them and then releasing them into the wild. They were using them in conflicts. They used them. He said they used them. The dogmen in I think dogmen or werewolf. I think both of them actually in Vietnam and other conflicts. But he said that once these creatures complete their mission, they end up taking flight and they never come back. So yeah, but he said that there's over I think he said just the werewolves themselves, there's over 48,000 werewolves in North America. And as far as the dogmen, I don't remember, but I think they're about an equal amount of dogmen. But the problem is that the dogmen are more dangerous. So the werewolves typically don't kill people. They just, they'll scare people, or they're more like kind of almost like protectors in some cases. Whereas the dogmen, the dogmen themselves, they'll pack up and they'll kill people. Like a few months ago, a lady, I think it was a teacher, they found her car pulled off to the side of the road, door open, but her body was across the street, and evidence of there were like these huge dog paw prints all over her, all around her body, and she was looked like she had been torn up by dogs. So anyway, I mean, apparently the dogmen are a lot more dangerous than the werewolves. The werewolves can actually talk, whereas the dogmen cannot. But they're hyper intelligent, both of them.
Yeah. So see, that can kind of go. That's kind of like a similar narrative. Yeah. So that makes sense, because my thing is, when you think about these things, like it's kind of like a chupacabra, for example, is one of the what do they call a cryptid as well. And I mean, think about when I've seen different stories and people have talked about it. When you talk to people who've had encounters with cryptids, many times they are very descriptive. They're able, when they're describing the event, there's some type of emotional type attachment to the event that they experience while just talking about it. And so I know that, some people may listen to this and say, well, this is just all fake and everything. But when you listen to people who've actually had the encounters describe it, I mean, they're believable. They're
Right.
believable, just like if you said that you went somewhere and you witnessed a crime, the way you'll be descriptive about it, and you'll know certain events that only someone there at the crime scene would know. These people are usually very descriptive, and
Yeah.
it's believable.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, there was a story that I heard about, just speaking about the chupacabra,
Mm-hmm.
a guy in Mexico. So apparently he saw this. He said it looked like a doll
Mm-hmm.
by a bush, but he said as he got closer to it, it didn't look like a doll anymore. It was like he said it looked
Mm-hmm.
like it was dead or something. So he said
Mm-hmm.
when he went to kind of kick it to see if it would move, he said it just all of a sudden it just kind of it like moved so quick he couldn't even like react, like he couldn't pull his leg back or anything. But he said what happened was his foot got close enough for it to strike his foot. It went through his boot, and
Wow.
like it had like this proboscis that went through his boot, hit his foot, and these things apparently have some type of venom. Made his leg swell up real bad. Looked like he said it looked like a cigarette burn or a cigar burn, and it
Mm.
really made him really really sick. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, man, that's like something that very well and very well known in Mexico. But what
Mm.
I was just doing here, I was going a little further on. So apparently, this is the trestle where
Mm-hmm.
this Pope monster is. This is the Pope trestle, and
Mm-hmm.
I was scrolling here and came across this guy. Now,
Ooh.
honestly, I mean this. I don't know. This looks more like a mask to me now.
Yeah.
Just the setting,
Mm-hmm.
looking at how would somebody get this close to something like this to take a picture. I'd
Exactly.
be willing to bet this is probably somebody in some type of costume or something.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, and it
Yeah.
goes for a little
Yeah,
while.
because they may say they had a hidden camera, but no, I don't buy it. With the, like you said.
Right, right, man. That's okay. So now this is the other thing that's a little closer. Now again, this just I don't know. I mean, could this be some guy's head or his real neck? I mean, people just don't have necks like this at all. And,
Right.
this is just
Yeah.
it could be Photoshop. With the way this is blending in here, I doubt it. It's in the it's I don't know. I didn't take
Yeah.
it, so hard to say, but
Mm-hmm.
you never know. Uh,
Right. I think that's at the end of the day, we never know. But I'll tell you what, it's one of those things where I would say, especially if enough people have actually had an encounter,
mhm.
or then it's it's one of those things you can't dismiss it either, right?
Right, right. You can't. I mean, you didn't see it. You didn't. You can't tell somebody they're lying if
Right.
they're telling. I mean, the only thing you can do is either prove that they're telling the truth or prove that
Mm-hmm.
they're lying. I mean, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I gotta be
Yeah.
honest. If I was out in the woods and I saw something like this, I might want to. I might want to go ahead and run. That's me.
Yes.
I mean, I might want to go ahead and catch some, kick some rocks there, as they
I
say.
agree.
Um, let's see what
Agreed.
else. Trestle of
Mm-hmm.
death. Yeah. So apparently, this is the trestle, and a lot of people have gone there and they're dying like crazy because they're trying to find this creature. I think I
Mm-hmm.
would, heavily avoid it. Okay, now this creature
Yeah.
has an axe, which I don't understand why he would have an axe.
That's true. Yeah, that's kind of an odd thing because, yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of
Hmm.
too. But I,
Hmm.
picture.
Yeah. I mean,
So
it kind of looks dangerous in the area in general. You know what I mean? Even
yeah,
without a cryptid, it looks,
it does.
without the public monster, it looks like a pretty dangerous area to be, or at
Yeah,
least a place for sure that I don't know that I'd want to be there all
no,
alone at night.
wouldn't be walking across this thing, man. You got no way.
Right.
The train starts to come, you know,
Yeah.
run very fast on those trestles, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, of course, trains are, you know, not that's not a very good way to go.
No, no, not at all. Huh.
So sounded sighted around Lake Worth, Fort Worth.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Hmm.
this is interesting. This is our area.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those out there, we're in the DFW area, so yeah,
Right.
we know about Lake Worth.
Now I've
Mm.
heard there are quite a lot of different cryptids around here. There, especially you know, Bigfoot where I'm from East Texas. So
Mm-hmm.
quite a lot of cryptids over there. Definitely Bigfoot and Dogmen and some other things that people have reported. So
Mm-hmm.
got to be now. I spent a lot of time out in the woods. I did not. I have never. Well, no, I won't say never. Um, like an encounter where something was standing in front of me. I could see it clearly. I've never had that. However, I have explained in my last video where I did have an encounter, some type of encounter, something that growled at me. And but I didn't on the last video speak about the creature that I saw in Louisiana, which
Mm-hmm.
was huge and it was like pinkish looking. I mean, this thing was huge, man. It had to be
Mm-hmm.
probably like 3 or 4 feet wide and taller than me at 10 years old. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
I heard it breathing. It had this deep, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
deep rattling kind of a growl
Mm-hmm.
breathing, and
Mm-hmm.
you could feel the heat from it, you know. But
Yeah.
when I ran away and came back with my dad, the thing was gone. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it was, but it was pink. It was like it was a flesh like that pinkish kind of color, like the color of
Mm-hmm.
chicken, like you get a
Right.
chicken
Right.
breast, but it had like
Mm-hmm.
this little dark, like little dots all over it. So
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you what that thing was.
The
Uh,
biggest thing that we used to always hear about, for those in the audience, I grew up in Louisiana, and the biggest thing we used to always hear about was Bigfoot. That
oh,
was a constant thing because, I don't know, for those in the audience that are listening, I don't know how much you know about the demographics of Louisiana, but Louisiana is a very rural place overall. And so I grew up in the country myself as well, just like Mr. D. I was in Louisiana, and we there were woods and everything. Like where I grew up at, it was so far out that at nighttime when you went, so when we actually went to take out the trash, we had to take it like up the street a little bit because where our house was, the road changed from being a paved road into a dirt road. So when I got to our house, it was just dirt road at that point. So we had to take the garbage just a little bit up the street for them to pick it up. And I used to hate doing that because it seems like it was always at night, and you could hear wolves, for example, howling at night. And so as a child, I was terrified about that. But we always would hear stories about Bigfoot because we lived. Um, the woods was literally at the I would say the southeast corner, southeast corner of our house, and
uh,
so you could go out there and just go straight into the woods. And as a child, I never would go out there because of all the stories we hear about Bigfoot and the different noises and things. I never had an encounter though, like yours, but I heard enough from other people that where I said I didn't want to have an encounter either. I wanted to make sure I didn't put myself in a situation to have one. So, but we used to hear about Bigfoot things all
yeah,
the time. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, man, they're out there. I truly I have no doubt at all. There are too many people talking about it with Dogmen and definitely those two. Even, I mean, with pretty much all of them. I heard a story the other day, just something else really strange where, you know, these kids were talking about, and I have a hard time believing that these things don't exist. Like you were saying,
Hmm.
way people describe them. I just have a hard time believing that you know everybody's lying. So
Yeah. Well, what's the saying go, right, Mr. D? The saying goes like this, that where there's smoke, there's fire. And
exactly.
so You know, it's just like that film, The Mothman Prophecies. That was a film, honestly, I thought was pretty scary because, you know, even though it was supposed to be a supernatural thriller, the fact of the matter is there are lots of people who have had an encounter with what appears like a Mothman.
Right.
And you know, I've taken the approach. You know what I'll tell you. It kind of reminds me of the whole thing about people who, you know, have reported alien sightings. That's what it kind of reminds me of because, you know, the population at large has not experienced that. But there are people that have vivid stories, vivid illustrations to give on their account of coming across these aliens. And so I, again, it's like you said, your experience. You know what I mean? It's like, who can actually, you know, it's like, why would you even make something like that up if it's not true, you know? And the
Right.
thing is, it's like there's so many people who have had those experiences. I mean, there was a link you gave me one time, and I went to read it, and you have all these people on it talking about they've had the encounter with the dog man. And I mean, I'm serious. Some of the people in there writing, you could tell they're afraid while writing it. Again, it's just like you said.
Yeah.
I think it's enough where we can't deny that there are things out there that we don't know quite what they are, or maybe we may not even know how they quite got here, but they're out there.
Yeah. They are, man.
And
They are.
you know, it's yeah. So what is this? A Glowacus? Hmm.
Glowacus. Yeah. So I've never heard of this before, but hey, there's always something new, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So it
Wow.
says the cloacas of Glastonbury, Connecticut, made headlines in the winter of 1939. Described as a mixture of a dog, cat, and bear. Sounds like man, bear, pig. Uh,
Mhm.
its blood-curdling screams could be heard late at night. The sightings were all in the wooded area in the eastern and southern parts of town. Two theories of the creature's true identity were that it's a lynx or a mountain lion. During a hurricane in 1938, a mountain lion had escaped from a zoo in Manchester, Vermont. Um, yeah, this is
Mm.
how it's written. Anyway, small dogs were found mutilated or just disappeared altogether. Sheep and goats were also found dead. In July 1939, a huge brown dog was captured in a bear trap and was then shot and killed. The local newspaper announced Mysterious Gloacus is no more. Regardless
Mm.
of the newspaper's declaration, sightings continued to occur. Not long after the Gloacus's supposed death, there were reports of the creature in Massachusetts, where livestock had been slaughtered but not eaten. Sightings were reported all over the Northeast until after World War II, when they abruptly stopped. So that's pretty interesting right there.
Yeah.
Not
Hmm.
sure what this picture is about, but there's no additional, pictures or anything like that. Now,
Hmm.
um, so what I'm going to do actually is kind of take a detour. I think a lot of
Hmm.
these things that are these are a little bit different. I think we can probably just go. I want to go to
Hmm.
something that's a little, more a little more well known here. So
Yeah.
what that is hold on one second.
Hmm.
Right here, and you just mentioned this, and that's the reason why I'm actually putting it over here. Um,
Hmm.
and this is it. So, Mothman creature reported by witnesses over Chicago, and this is apparently a picture of this creature. Now, whether this is real or not, have no idea.
Yeah.
However, um, another reason why I wanted to put this over here is because of what I talked about in my last video,
Hmm.
and the fact that there have been well, maybe well over 100 sightings in the Chicago area over the last couple decades,
Hmm.
and over nine just this year alone. So
Mm. Wow.
this is pretty interesting right here. Mothman. I always kind of I was trying to see if there are any more pictures, but I always kind of stayed away from Mothman just because
Hmm.
it wasn't like seriously interesting to me.
Yeah.
But now after the sightings that I heard, man,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm a little more interested now.
Yeah, especially, I mean, Chicago's a big city. You're talking about the third largest city here in the United States, and so I mean, to have that many people actually start reporting sightings there, I mean, it's kind of a big deal, honestly. I mean, because usually, most of the time, when you actually come across any type of cryptids, it seems to be more in a rural type location, like somewhere that where you have to look it up on Google Maps or something to find the place. But
Right.
everybody knows where Chicago is, and even if it's on the outskirts or whatever, I mean, still, yeah, that's
Right.
quite something. We know a bat doesn't get that big, but
Oh no. There's some bats that get big, but we don't have bats like that size. And
right.
I think it's a fruit bat that's the largest bat, but it's
Hmm.
still only maybe a couple feet tall or something. Now this apparently they're asking, this is a picture of what could possibly be this Mothman. It says here in this Chicago's no, is this Chicago's Mothman? A couple accidentally captured this image while photographing the eye care muffler man on South Pulaski Road. Screenshot via YouTube Paranormal Junkie. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's just play the
Hmm.
video here and see what it has to say. It's kind of long. Let's see. I don't want to. Let's see.
Any picture. Uh-huh.
Let's go ahead. Yeah. So they were filming this guy. I see why they want to take pictures of him. He's pretty creepy looking.
Yeah.
I can see now.
Hmm.
And this apparently the creature back here. That's
Oh, wow.
yeah. So it's definitely some type of creature flying
Yeah.
over. Man,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah, it's pretty
it
good
is.
size.
Yeah, it's big, definitely.
Hmm.
That's strange, man.
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, look how tiny this bat is in this guy's hands. And then that flying in the air, especially when you look at that and actually compare its size relative to the statue.
Yeah, and if
I
it was
mean,
even, it had to have been behind it. So
right.
this thing is big.
Hmm.
And even if this is a bat, that's a cryptid in itself, man. What bat gets that
Yeah.
big?
Because just judging on the size of that statue, I mean, that thing would have to be, I would venture to say, maybe 6 to 8 feet,
Yeah, that's what
you
I.
know?
Yeah,
Just, and again, just doing that, just a loose calculation based on how big the statue in front of it is.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's pretty large size. I mean, because for example, most bats, you wouldn't even be able to see them at all in the air next to that statue, because
Exactly.
the large size of that statue is simply it's going to overpower anything that's small behind it.
Right.
It's yeah. So yeah, that's pretty odd. That
Pretty. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I mean,
Hmm.
like I said, that could very well have been the creature,
Hmm.
something like it that was, in that video I showed last night, last video.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Chicago's current Mothman flap a warning, says expert. This is, man, I tell you, it doesn't take. Oh wow, that's interesting. Hold on one second. Let me grab it
Hmm.
quick.
Hmm.
Oh, Phantom is Moth. So this is man, I forget the guy's name.
Hmm.
Um, oh, what's his name? Hold on one second. I gotta
Hmm.
get his name. Lon. Lon. Oh, hold on. Dang it, I can't remember this guy's name.
Was was it the guy that they actually showed in the picture from the video that was actually having kind of like the face like surprised or whatnot?
No, I don't think that was him. His name is Lon. Hold on.
Hmm.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I'm gonna, if I don't get his name, I'm just gonna be like bugged for a while.
Yeah,
I spend too much time on it, but I gotta get his name. Hold on.
it's
Uh,
like right there on the tip of the tongue.
yeah, it's Lon.
Hmm.
Hold on.
Hmm. See, this is the guy I was thinking about. He's in the picture,
Yeah,
like like
yeah,
he's surprised. He can't believe what he's seeing. And
yeah. His name is Lon Strickler. That's right. Yeah.
okay,
So I don't know if
got
if it's that guy, but so Phantoms and Monsters is Lon Strickler's site. So he has a YouTube channel as well.
it. Hmm.
I believe it's called Phantoms and Monsters. Uh,
Yeah.
anyway, he was talking about Mothman, and he was talking about Dogman with another
Hmm.
cryptid researcher or another cryptid channel.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and go here real quick. So here it says, yeah, Chicago's current Mothman flap a warning. Um, so apparently this is, kind of the area, the area or whatever.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
then, of course, the most famous sighting of Mothman was in Point Pleasant, and that's right before I think it was this a bridge collapsed.
Hmm.
A lot of people.
Hmm.
Yeah, have you ever heard of
Oh,
Point Pleasant?
yeah, I have actually. Uh-huh. That's why I was kind of like, okay, wow, all right. Hmm. And now I haven't dived into the specific Mothman of Point Pleasant, but I definitely know about Point Pleasant. I
Yeah.
gotta have relatives up there in the area, so. But huh.
So let's see. Yeah, it was West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in 1966. So apparently, this creature was seen on the bridge, um, and soon, like I don't know if it was the
Mm-hmm.
day of or the day after the bridge collapsed.
Yeah,
So
and then they actually put a statue up there of a Mothman as
uh,
well. I think they
I
did
think
actually.
they did. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they did. Yep, they sure did.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because um, why would they actually? I wonder why they would actually do that. There must have been enough people, again, actually reporting that type of sighting for them to actually put, an actual statue of one up there as well. I mean, that's just not something that someone just says out of the blue. Hey, you know what? Let's go and make a Mothman statue. No,
Right.
it's got to be a lot more to it than that. I've never read up on it though. I just was like, well, I thought heard they actually did a statue there though. But
Yeah. Well, they made a movie about it, Moth
yeah,
Prophecies.
yeah,
But check this out. You look at these drawings here.
mm-hmm,
Does that look familiar at all?
hmm, yeah,
I showed.
uh,
Doesn't it look like those creatures
huh,
in the video that I showed?
yeah,
Kind of round
uh-huh,
bodies with the wings.
right,
Yeah,
mm-hmm,
that's what.
yeah, because yeah, you're right actually. Especially like I can see it if it flies at a certain angle, even it would
Right.
even match that.
Here
And
we go.
those things were actually pretty big, you know?
Yeah.
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 Because even I don't even believe there are birds that size. I mean, I
No.
could be wrong, but I don't think so. Not when I look at it in relative position. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does actually kind of remind you of that. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
And then no bird is going to fly into smoke.
no way. All that stuff going on. Those birds would have been far away from that place.
Right. Exactly.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what, man. That's pretty much what those things look like. I'm betting, man. I'm betting. You know, the Mothman is exactly what was here. I'm betting that's the case. I'm
Yeah. and,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't even be surprised because I mean just look at I mean let's just look at the world we're in right now. There's so many things, like nobody thought we'd be in the middle of the situation we're going through globally right now.
Yeah.
And, these things have been around even before that. I mean, the world can be really a strange place. It
Yeah.
really can. It can make you ask yourself, you know, what is going on? I mean, it really can. It's just, yeah,
It,
absolutely.
without a doubt, man. I think I think we better be ready for any contingency, anything that there's anything could happen, anything at all. We have no. I mean, because it's there. It's kind of like and I just kind of like to look at things that on a more, I guess, kind of a logical view, right? So
Hmm.
if you have if you're out in the crowd and you're in a crowd of 500 people and 100 people have guns and they're looking to shoot you, you know
Hmm.
wouldn't you expect that at some point you're going to run across someone?
Right.
you know so
Right.
that's, I mean, we know that there's obviously some type of something out there, man, because
Hmm.
people are talking about it on a regular basis. Some really weird things, some more,
Hmm.
I'm sorry, more Mothman and Bigfoot and Dogman, all that. But there's some other
Hmm.
strange creatures that people are saying they've seen. You got missing 411, and you got tons and tons of cryptid channels out there. I mean, I'm serious, man. There's probably hundreds of them
Hmm.
in one of them. So
Hmm.
so yeah, man,
Hmm.
there's something is going on. Something is going on here. And again, like I said, these are I look at it as these things are predators and most likely super predators. So, and
Uh-huh.
last time I checked, people are made of meat.
Yeah,
So
you're right. That means they could be eaten, and unfortunately,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you know, it's, I know everyone likes to think of man being an apex predator, but for those in the audience, I mean, the apex predator, I believe, is the one that's supposed to be at the top of the food chain. But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, put it like this, we've seen enough shark attacks to know that a shark doesn't care, does it?
no,
Well, just like a shark wouldn't care, these things also wouldn't care if they encountered it. And then, like you said, some of the things described, of some people, limbs, detached, all, torn apart. I mean, it's really sad, but it even makes me think about, for example, you've heard of the whole thing about spontaneous combustion.
yeah,
So I don't know if you were a kid, but when I was a kid, and I'm sure some people in the audience will resonate with this as well. That was when the show Unsolved Mysteries was coming on, and it was hosted by Robert Stack.
yep.
And I'll tell you what, now Robert Stack, he's gone now, but the thing is, he was one scary guy to me, because they would actually have those segments in Unsolved Mysteries where it was something where you just, whether, it's kind of like they would have a lot of stories about ghosts, for example. And then they would have other stories about spontaneous combustion, or, and it was one of those things where it was just like the way they presented it, with people, eyewitnesses saying this and this happened, or relatives saying this and that. I mean, something happened, but we just can't explain it.
Right.
And I think Netflix recently tried to bring back Unsolved Mysteries. They may have did a one season of it, and and everything, and they've kind of stayed on the same track. To me, when I think of cryptids, I look at them being in the same category. It's like some people don't believe that spirits exist. Well, but you have many people, millions of people across the planet who've actually seen them,
Mm,
including myself. Real story, Mr. D. My stepbrother, God rest his soul, he was killed in a car accident.
right.
And I'll tell you what, I remember seeing him 3 times of the week that I found out. He got killed in Arkansas, unfortunately, and my grandmother lived up there, and I came to visit her, and I was staying the week there. And I kid you not, Mr. D, I saw him 3 times while I was at the house. And on
Wow.
Friday, the day I was going to actually leave, I'm telling you, I was not hallucinating. I'm telling you, this happened. I was so happy that day. I was relieved that I was going to be leaving. So when I woke up, I was so happy. I was like, I'm glad I'm going to be leaving because my cousins and I, we always thought my grandmother's house was kind of creepy because, they would see spirits there or hear things that you shouldn't hear. For example, I could be asleep or whatever, or trying to go to sleep, and I could hear one of her bar stools twisting in the kitchen. Nobody's in there, but it's twisting around and I hear it. All right. And
Uh,
this wasn't wind or anything, but I'm not trying to veer off the point here. But my point that I'm making is that just like cryptids, spirits exist, but some people don't believe they exist because they believe it's unsubstantiated as well. But I've seen them, and I saw my stepbrother there 3 times that week. And that Friday, when I was so happy to be leaving, I looked over to my right, and he was right down on the floor there trying to look at my face. So
oh
you
wow.
know what I did, Mr. D? I immediately yelled out for my grandmother, who was in the room next door to this room where I was sleeping. Do you know she never heard me at all?
Wow.
Never heard me at all. And I was yelling at the top of my lungs. And
Wow.
the reason I know is because I sat there with the actual cover over my head for about an hour. It took me an hour before I got the courage to look back to see if he was still there. And so he wasn't. And so I hopped out of that bed and I ran to my grandmother's room and I said, Grandma, why didn't you say anything? I yelled out for you. And she said, Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. And I'll tell you what, that's not the only experience I had with that, with spirits, but that's just one thing because I think about it because to me, it's like a parallel to your experience. You know what I mean? To millions of others' experiences. I mean, I'll tell you what, how many people in Minnesota have actually talked about the fact that they've encountered this dogman creature? It's for some reason there are lots of sightings in Minnesota. I don't know what it is about Minnesota, but there are lots of sightings in Minnesota.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well,
Or yeah, Wisconsin. Oh wait,
yeah,
Michigan too. Yeah.
yeah. It's just like, all these people, they can't be lying.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. It's pretty unsettling and amazing and very very interesting at the same time, man. So,
yeah,
well, hey,
definitely.
we're approaching on up on an hour now, and let's see where we are. We're right at an hour, and I think we should just go ahead and call it now. We're gonna have to definitely pick this up again. There's so much to talk about, man. So much, um,
Yes.
but we don't want to inundate our our listeners too much
I know.
information. So
Yeah, we could go on, and eventually you got to kind of table it, and then we come back again, tackle
yeah,
it again.
absolutely. Now,
For
again,
sure.
I do want to get out and do some, maybe do some driving around, man, if you're up for it. What do you think
Hmm.
about that? Just kind of, poke around a little bit at night sometime.
Yeah,
Just let me know.
yeah. We just got to make sure. We're in Texas, so we just got to make sure we have some extra protection with us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yes, sir, definitely. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Hey, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming on again, man. And yeah, we
Thanks
will
for
do
having
this again very soon. Yeah, absolutely. No, no, don't even speak of it, man. We're definitely going to do it again. So,
me,
uh,
sir. Sir.
well, guys, definitely, we definitely appreciate you guys watching and just being interested in what we have to say. We will definitely pick this up again. And if you have any comments or suggestions or anything like that, or even if you've had any sightings, definitely send me a video. I'm sorry, send me the sighting at cryptidtours@gmail.com. The email is in the description below. send that to me. I'd definitely love to read your description, or I'm sorry, your encounter. And and hopefully I could even have you on the show sometime. So anyway, guys, thank you again. Take care of yourselves, and God bless.